All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network Live. We are going to be talking in just a moment to a couple of young entrepreneurs and also drag racers from up here in New England. Of course, first one with the black hat with no lettering on the front, I should say. Eric Corey. He races his parents' pickup truck at New England Dragway in some divisional events. And in the back, the other one with the beard. Well, actually, now that I look again, you both have beards. The one who was talking about he's going bald. Um, Of course, I'm talking about Tim Gray. Everybody knows his dad's car. It's a legendary car in stock eliminator racing. Of course, Johnny Gray's former LeBron Engineering 69, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, 69 Camaro. That's not a Copo, is it?
No.
No, just a regular old Camaro.
Yeah.
Very nice. Um, they have expanded their horizons a little bit and have gotten into 3D printing, doing some carbon work and some other plans for the future. And we're looking forward to learning a little bit more about it. So, good evening, guys. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
I am doing great. Of course, that's Eric Corey. And so, the first thing we want to get into is how did you guys get involved in drag racing? Give me a little background. Eric, let's start with you.
All right. Well, my race shop. Well, my dad's always raced. So my dad's race shop used to be at the house, in a barn, small barn right next to my house, and I grew up in the shop with him. I spent every night. He was building the truck I race now at the time in '05, '06. Just when I was old enough to kind of know what was going on, three ish, four ish. I was hanging out in the shop with him every night, watching him work on race cars, messing stuff up in the shop, making a mess. But as I got older, I started helping him. As we built the truck to be better, I helped him as much as I could. And it kind of turned into me really wanting to get into racing. And when I was 7, he bought me a junior dragster. And he bought a junior dragster that needed a lot of work, and he did it on purpose so we could work on it together to help me learn. So we built my first junior dragster together back in, I want to say, probably 2011, I think it was. I started racing it in 2012 when I was 8, and it kind of just took off from there. Once I raced once, uh, I I got the bug, and I never let up from there. We got another junior. Then my brother got into it. When I turned 16, I decided to get into the blue truck that everybody, I think a lot of people know about the blue truck. My dad's raced it. My mom raced it. My dad's won a lot of money in it. My mom won a lot of races in it. And when it came time for me to get in a big car, that was the one I wanted to race just because of how much history it had. My dad told me I could race it, so I hopped in it. And the first year I ran it, I raced Super Street in Division One. It was the same year that COVID hit, so the year I got my license in a big car was the year COVID hit. So it was a short season. I had to wait. My birthday's in October. I had to wait till June to get my license. But once I got my license and got comfortable in it, we did as many divisionals as I could. I did pretty well in it. I got really comfortable in it. And after that, the year after, I decided I wanted to go a little faster, as a racer does. Once you get the bug, you don't want to go slower. So
Right.
we put a bigger motor in it. We ended up going with a 600 cubic inch motor over the 565 and put some nitrous on it. And I dabbled in Top Sportsman, and it would go like 760s, 770s. I mean, it's heavy, or it was heavy. So it took all of it to go 760, 770s, but I couldn't really qualify for a divisional. So when we would go away, I'd run it in Super Street. So I'd run a car that would go 170 miles an hour in Super Street. I did that for a year. Made a couple people angry in the process, but we had fun with it. I mean, it wasn't a good Super Street car when it was going 170. It was unrealistic, but it was the class that it worked in. It was too heavy for super gas. I couldn't cut a light, So we ran it in Super Street, and dabbled in Top Sportsman. And actually, the year that I ran Super Street and Top Sportsman at the same time, I won the championship in New England in the Ionati series.
Oh,
So
cool.
I won. That was in 2021. I won the championship in the Ionati series, and then the year after, we decided to go even faster. The truck was not built for it. It was built to be an 8-second car, and we decided to put 1,500 horse to it. And I said, why don't we put nitrous on it too? So we ended up, it was probably making about 1,900 horse, and I went 730s at 3,000 pounds for a year and wore it out. The chassis was worn out. So we put it on the jig, and it's not done yet because we bought another one, but that's on the jig now. So that's going to be, it was 6.0 cert, but the back half was old school square tube. So that's getting back halved, and we got another car going. But in the process of when I started back halving the truck is when I decided, I really want to make a business out of this. I worked at Dan Page's for 3 years back in when I started racing big cars. I was working for Dan Page. I worked there for 3 years, and one of the things that I did a lot over there was carbon fiber. So on the days that I wasn't fitting tubes and tacking tubes in, um, Danny had me doing carbon fiber, and he taught me. I mean, Danny's very good at what he does. In my opinion, he's one of the best fabricators in the East Coast, and he taught me how he did it, and that's the way I learned. So that's the way I do it. And I don't know if you've ever seen some of Danny's carbon work, but it's
Oh, yeah.
it's beautiful. So I have to give a lot of credit to him because I learned a lot in the couple of years that I worked over there. I didn't work there for the money. I worked there for the experience, and I definitely got the experience. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to have the business I have now. Because
Very
90%
cool.
of the stuff I do now, I learned from Danny or my dad, or Brian Bell was a huge help. Um, but that's kind of how it started. I was back half in the truck. I loved doing it, and it came to the point where, why don't I make a business out of this? So I was selling VP fuel at the time before I opened the business. I'm a distributor for Steve Cultrera at Eastern VP Sales. So I was doing that, and that was taking off. So I decided, all right, I'm going to open the business. I'm going to do some carbon fiber work, a little bit of chassis work, and sell fuel. So about it wasn't even 2 weeks into it. I had some people asking me if I could build their junior motors because I used to do it when I was in juniors. I'd build my own motors, build my brothers, build some close friends' motors. And I had some people reach out, hey, can you build my junior motor this year? And I'm like, yeah, why not? So then I started doing it, and I'm like, oh, I can do anodizing on these. I can polish these. I can make these motors look really nice. So I decided, hey, why don't I use this as another part of my business? So that was a hit. I've done quite a few of those this winter. And then in the process of doing that, Tim reached out to me and said, hey, I have this idea. I started getting into this 3D printing stuff. I'm just getting into it, but I think there's market in it. So I was like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. So Tim came up, we got together, and we started out with the big block Chevy block off kits that are on our website. So that was our first part. So basically, they're a block off plate kit that when you disassemble your engine to send it out to an engine shop or store it for the winter, you got your intake flange or your carburetor flange, that we have a plate for that. Exhaust flanges, we have a cover plate for that. Um, Thermostat housing, distributor, stuff like that. So that was the first thing we dabbled in, and then we just every night we'd call or we'd text each other ideas, and we started with the spark plug holders, which were a pretty big hit. And now we have the window marker holders and converter plugs. What else do we have?
AN fittings. We got that dash.
Oh,
working
yeah.
on.
So we have a new item that we just came out with. It's when I all the time when I was growing up and I'm taking apart motors with dry sump pumps on them. You got all these lines that go into your oil pan when you're trying to take the motor out. When you take the line off, it leaks. No matter how much you drain it, it leaks oil all over the floor. Anytime you take a fuel line off, if it doesn't have a shut off on it, it leaks everywhere, and it just always bothered me. So me and Tim decided, why don't we try and 3D print caps and plugs for AN fittings? And that's these right here. I don't know if you can see them in the camera or not, but that's a plug and a cap.
Cool.
So that's your cap. That's your plug. So we're selling those now. Those are on the website. We have the spark plug holders on there, and then a couple. What was it last week that you came with the dial marker?
Yeah, that was last week. My dad came up with that.
Yeah. So we've been taking just anybody who comes to us and says, "Hey, I want this custom part," and we kind of just been like, "All right, well, why don't we make it into something that we mass produce?" So his dad came up with it. You said last week, right?
Yeah, my dad's getting his car ready. He's in Gainesville right now. He was getting it ready. And one thing he said to me was, make me a dial marker holder. I'm sick of my dial marker rolling around my floor. So I made him one. And then he posted a picture on Facebook. And then I had a bunch of people ordering something we didn't even have yet. So we started making them and sold them from there.
That's awesome. Now, if I remember correctly, your pickup truck was completely home built. Is that correct? The
Yes,
original.
that has always been home built, and it always will be home built. And we've always built everything we've ever had has been built in our shop, other than the Dan Page dragster that my dad drove for a few years. So that we sold that car is gone. Mike Sawyer has that car now.
The top dragster, you mean?
Yeah, so we sold the top dragster car to Mike Sawyer, and we bought a '98 S10 tube chassis truck last year, and it was in rough shape. But we bought it. We got a decent deal on it, and we rebuilt that one from the ground up too. And that one should be coming out pretty soon. So that one will be out in mid-April. The new Top Sportsman car.
Awesome.
Yep. So we got my mom's truck that we built. We got my truck that we built. My dad's truck that we built, and then we're working. We got a Fox body for my brother that we're going to be putting a cage in soon, and we got a whole fleet.
Got a whole fleet. Yeah, that's all. That was. I was impressed when I first found out that you guys built that blue truck.
Yep.
All in the garage of your house, essentially.
Yep. My dad built that. The first time he built it by himself in the garage. He had little to no help when he built it. Do you remember when it was black? It used to be matte black, like way back.
That might have been a little bit before I started getting back into the drag racing stuff.
Yeah. So way back, the truck was matte black. That time he built it completely by himself in the garage. That's when I was explaining when I was really young. I was just hanging out in the garage learning. But from there, it just we started getting a little bit of help from other people. And the last time we rebuilt it was when my mom started driving it. We noticed the chassis was a little like when my dad drove it, he just kept pushing it off like the chassis, whatever. He didn't care. But when my mom started driving, he's like, I want this thing to be the safest car that goes down the racetrack. So we 603rd tube chassised it for her to race it, and she raced it for a couple of years, and then it was my turn, and went from there. But now it's getting a whole revamp, and I got some. That one's gonna be pretty crazy. I got some ideas for that one. There's a possibility that ends up with a Pro Charger or a Roots blower motor in it.
Oh boy!
When it hits the track, so that one should be a deep 6-second ride.
Now you're gonna stay in Top Sportsman with it, you think?
I'm gonna stay in Top Sportsman with it, but I don't have the money at the moment to build a blower motor. So when I bring it out for the first year, I'm probably gonna dabble in Outlaw 632 and PDRA.
Okay.
So I have a motor for that already. Just needs to be put together. I have all the parts, but that'll be what happens the first year, and then we'll go from there. That's the plan for now. It's changed about 3 or 4 times since we started building this thing, but we'll see where it goes.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Tim, wake up.
I'm here.
All right. So again, your dad drives the legendary former L&L Engineering '69 Camaro Stalker that's been around, and won more races and championships than most people could even consider.
Yeah.
Um, what's your deal, man? How'd you get? Obviously, I know how you got rolling because your dad was racing. What
Yeah.
did you start out in?
So when he started racing, he had his Nova that was a stalker, and he ran that.
Yep.
Um, and in 2012, he bought the Camaro from Dave LeBrun. And the deal was I could either get a junior dragster, or he'd sell the Nova, or he'd keep the Nova, and I could drive it. And I knew from the time I could walk, I wanted to drive that car. I wanted that car, so he kept it. We kept it, and when I was 16, I got in the Nova and drove that for a while, and then felt like going faster, so bought the dragster and started going faster, and now I want to go faster again.
Always want to go faster. Come on now.
Always want to go fast. That's the one thing all you guys always say. Always, it was fun. It was a little slow, but I want to go faster.
Never fast enough.
Never fast enough. Um, so how long have you been in your dragster?
I bought that in 2022, so
So 3 years,
now.
3 years essentially.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, when I did some work for Azra, I can remember you coming up on stage with your dad. You were about that tall,
Yeah.
and you got your own championship jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was
Yeah.
one of the cool things. Um, so what what made you want to branch out into um the fabrication side of the universe?
Um, I I don't really know, to be honest with you. I
I knew
just
you were gonna say that.
I everyone knows race cars are my thing. I like racing, and just the more I could do it and be involved in it, the better it was. So if I can't race them, I like to work on them, and you can only work on one car so much in the winter. So I branched out and started doing more of outside stuff. Kind of, I do a lot of the computer stuff. I draw the stuff on the computer. I do all the plastic parts, making all the 3D print stuff. So that's
Cool.
my deal.
Tim's the computer guy for sure. He draws the part. We come up with the ideas together. He draws the
Yep.
part. He's got the printer at his house. So when it comes to the 3D printed stuff on our website and for the business, that's Tim's portion of it for sure.
Cool. Now, did you study that stuff when you were in school? That how you
I
kind
did
of, oh, you didn't?
no. I I just went to a regular high school. I didn't go to college. I'm a mechanic during the day by trade, and I always liked the computer thing. I've always worked on them and just self-taught. I just kept teaching myself, getting better and better and better.
Yeah, my wife dabbled with a 3D printer for about probably a year or so, and she's pretty good with computers, but it was getting to the point where she wanted to do more, but she also didn't have the time to learn how to write the code or whatever it is to make those particular pieces. So she ended up selling it. But so what are your plans for your racing future, Tim?
Um, Go faster.
Yeah, go
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 faster.
faster.
Yeah,
Um,
how did I know that was coming?
yeah, I like Top Dragster. I like racing. Where I'm at. Eventually, I'd like to get a faster car. Um, Someday, I want to have Dan Page build me a dragster and go, you know,
Here
go
you go.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you should buy Freddie's car.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
It's only money.
it's only money. Yeah,
It's only money. No big
Make
deal.
it back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have bought our
Yeah.
car.
I should have.
He always fight. He almost bought our dragster that we sold to Mike Sawyer. He
Oh,
was
really?
this close, but at the last, he's like, you know what? I don't really want to spend the money, and he regrets it every single day. He says it all the time. He's like, I wish I bought your car. I wish I bought your car.
Yeah, I really say it when I go to New England Dragway and run the divisional every year and don't qualify.
Well, as a little side joke, you can at least if you don't qualify, you can keep Lauren Lowe company, right? But she always fusses to me about when she doesn't qualify.
Yep.
Or you
So
can get in as an alternate, and I can take you out in the semifinals again.
Yeah, exactly. That.
what?
I said a couple years when I raced Top Dragster in my dad's car, Tim got in as an alternate, and we raced in the semifinals. And would I take 1,000? I almost gave it back.
You were trying to give it back.
Yeah, I ended up beating him, but I almost messed it up. But it was a good race. It was fun. That was a good weekend.
That's cool. So, all right, how did you guys get together to get this whole thing rolling? The
Well,
business.
we were actually, funny you say that because earlier we were talking about like some stuff way back, and me, Tim, and Brandon Miller, back when
Yep.
I don't know, we were just young enough to be racing junior dragsters at the time. We were super close. We were we used to race RC cars, so we used to get together and race RC cars at night at the divisional races. We used to have a thing called we used to call it RC car cash days. We all used to get
Okay.
together with like 25, 30 of us. We'd all throw in like $20 and we'd race in the pits. But we always grew up hanging out, playing with RC cars, and all three of us, we were just messing around at the track at night, hanging out. So we've always been friends. And then we always raced together. For the longest time, Tim was the only one without a race car because he didn't get a junior dragster, but he got the Nova. So he got in the Nova, and then, you were in the Nova before we were in big cars. You were in the Nova before us.
Yeah.
You're older than yeah. So Tim was the first one out of all of us that got a big car. So Tim was in the Nova. We were still in junior dragsters, and then he was like, how's it feel now? I'm in a big car, and you're still in a junior.
Actually,
did Brandon run first?
No. I was first in the big car by about 20 minutes. Then Brandon. The first weekend I raced, I went out to Lebanon Valley, ran the All-Star out there, and that was the same weekend Brandon was getting his license in what is now my car. But he towed my car out there, and we tested on Friday night and both got our licenses. And I ran and, was first, and then he ran about 20 minutes later, and then he was in the big car.
You can still say that you were the first one, though.
Yep.
I was behind the ball because my birthday fell, and like I said, where COVID hit, and I had to wait 6-7 months before I could get my license. I was old enough, but we couldn't race, so I was waiting, impatiently waiting for the track to open to get my license.
Right.
Once it went from there, I mean, we've always raced together. We started racing Top Dragster together, and a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, me and Tim started working together at the track because he wanted to spray his car. He wanted to use nitrous on his car. And I've always used nitrous, so we played with that a little bit in his car, got a little quicker, and we've always we've been helping each other out. I started selling him fuel, and like I said, he reached out to me after he saw that I opened the business, and he was like, hey, this might be something that we should look into, and we tried it, and it was a hit, so we're going to keep doing it.
Very cool. Now, you showed one of the parts that you made. I remember. Did you show that before we went on or after we went on?
No, we showed this was
Yeah,
we were on the show. Yeah, that's the AN cap, and then we have the spark plug holders, and then I got some stuff sitting on my desk, just some random stuff. This is some of the these are the big block Chevy exhaust block off plates, and then this is a converter cap. Like a converter plug for when you take the converter off. And then this is actually something that is very new. We've been playing with this. This is still in the prototype stage, but this is a Fuel Tech dash. So it's to mount the Fuel Tech ECU with the 2 nanos on the side of it, and it mounts on a steering column of a tube chassis car.
Oh, cool.
there was a lot that went into this, so we're still kind of working on it to make it perfect.
Yeah.
Kind of put that to the side a little bit, and Tim's really been focusing on getting the parts that are going to make us money.
Right.
The little stuff that we can bang out fast and get them out the door and ship them out. But yeah, he's
Now,
been.
like with the fuel tech um piece, how much time is involved in printing that out? Well, actually, let's start from the beginning. How much time is involved from you sitting in front of your computer, typing in the code, and then you click enter and start printing it? What's the timeline on something like that?
That's a Tim question. Tim, how long did we spend making that dash?
Well, the dash, we got a lot of hours into. More drawing. That it's actually a pretty quick print. I can print that in like 2 hours.
Okay.
That's the machine doing its thing, but I probably got 20 hours of on the computer drawing it, changing things, drawing it again. But as far as like something like the exhaust covers or spark plug holder, I mean, I can draw that in 15 minutes and then have it printed in 20, and you know
Cool.
that stuff's pretty quick.
All right. Now, obviously, all that's Greek to me. Are you doing it in CAD and then printing it, or are you doing it in a different program and then printing it?
No, it's all in CAD. So I don't
Okay.
all the
Okay.
all the stuff we sell is stuff I draw. I don't like download people's files or do anything like that. Everything we sell is my drawing, and then I put it in the 3D printer program and make the program for it and print it.
Awesome. So, what else do you guys to expand out to doing? You have those pieces and parts that you're developing and have developed. What else have you gotten involved in?
Oh, I mean, realistically, I'd say probably once or twice a week. We'll just randomly, it'll be like 10 o'clock at night, you're laying in bed and you come up with something and you're like, oh, that'd be a good idea. So we'll just be like randomly texting each other and just trying to either improve the things we have or make new things. So like last week, his dad came up with that or shot out the idea of the marker holder. So Tim drew that up, printed that out, and we did that. And then what else we have on the horizon? We really like just
kind
think
of
of stuff
wing it.
on the fly. We think of it on the fly. Like I'll be working on building one of our cars, and I'll shoot Tim a text and say, "Hey, this is a good idea." Oh, that's what it is. The charging lug. So a lot of the racers that run Top Dragster, Top Sports, and stuff like that will know this. The little plastic charging plugs that everybody runs to
Yep.
plug in your charger, the gray plastic ones. On the door cars and the dragsters behind the body panels, there's a tab that bolts to. So they're usually made of steel, but where we try and make our race cars, we try and make as light as possible and as strong as possible. So I was working on my dad's truck, and I don't have the equipment to machine the steel stuff yet. So I was like, I texted Tim, I drew up a part. Tim perfected it because Tim is definitely better at drawing things than I am. But I made the drawing, I got the measurements down, and Tim took it and made it better looking and worked on it a little bit. So it's actually that's going to be on the website next. It's a piece that bonds or bolts to the body panel or your tailgate of a truck or in the gas door of your race car that actually holds that plug to plug in. And I'm going to get the plugs, and I'm going to sell the plugs with the mount.
Cool. So let's talk about the carbon work. I've never done it, but I've had friends that have done it, and they say it's definitely not the easiest stuff to work with. But you're doing some carbon fiber work as well.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things that I do personally. Me and Tim talked last week, and he's gonna start. He ran out of stuff to work on his car this winter, so he's gonna come up on the weekends, and I'm gonna teach him how to do it. But for now, it's just me doing that. But it is a lot of work. It's not easy. It's extremely time consuming, and there's a million ways to mess it up, and there's only one way to do it right. So
Gotcha.
um, I worked on it a lot at Dan Page's, and he taught me how to do it. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. I mean, I'm very specific on how I want it done because I want it to look perfect. I don't like giving people something that I wouldn't put on my race car. If I wouldn't
Gotcha.
put it on my race car, I'm not going to sell it to somebody. So
Gotcha.
I spend a lot of time making it, like making the molds. I have you know what Dieter Anger is? He runs snowmobiles at New
Yep.
England Dragway.
Yep.
So he's building a new sled right now. And he came to me over the summer and said, "Hey, I want you to make some panels for my sled out of carbon." And I'm like, "All right, bring them by." So he brought them by a couple months ago. And it's the side panels on the snowmobile. So there's a lot of contours and curves on the side panels of the snowmobile. So I had to make a mold of the body panel. You have to make a mold of the body panel. Then you have to do everything you would do to the inside of that mold that you would do to paint a race car. All the
Okay.
body work, prime it, sand it, block it, prime it again, clear it. And once it's cleared, you buff it, and then you make it look as good as it would look on the outside of a car. So as good as your daily driver looks, that's the inside of that mold has to look, and then you lay up the carbon on the inside of it. And a layup like that is probably going to take me about 5 hours, like sitting in a chair laying that up. The flat panels that I sell on the website, those aren't as extensive, but they still have to be perfect. So you still have to work it in pretty good. I mean, I probably spend about 2.5 hours on a flat sheet
Well,
to make it look up to par. Because if you don't spend your time, Dan Page used to tell me, if you think you're done, mess with it another half an hour because you're not done. He's used to say it every time I would lay up a piece. He said, "You think you're done? No, you're not. Another half an hour. Keep
right.
squeegeeing away." So that's what I do now. If I think I'm done, I just keep going for another half an hour.
That's awesome. Now, what are you doing the carbon fiber work as what the customer wants, like in a particular application, or are you manufacturing, you are doing that and then manufacturing specific parts as part of your product line?
So part of my product line is I have the cover for a dashboard in a American dragster. So that's something that is I don't remember, I don't think it's on the website yet, but that is a product that I can mass produce is the dash covers, and
Okay.
then I also sell the 3 foot by 4 foot flat sheets,
Okay.
um, and then on top of that, I also do anything, not anything, but almost anything custom. So if somebody texts me or calls me and says they need this, they give me the dimensions of what they need, or they send me the part that they want made in carbon. 9 times out of 10, I can do it. It takes some time. It's not like I'll get it to you next week type of thing. It's a couple months to get a good custom part made, depending on what it is. But I
Right.
can do a lot of things custom, and that's what I've been doing a ton of recently.
Very cool. Is there anything where you just said, no, this isn't going to happen?
There is. I got a piece downstairs that I'm gonna try, but so a problem that I run into sometimes is, body panels on motorsport items, say dirt bikes, four wheelers, snowmobiles, like Harleys. Uh, the body panels mount from the inside, so there's
Yeah.
tabs on the inside of the body. It's almost impossible to make that tab work on the inside because when you lay up the carbon on the outside of the piece, can't transfer the inside. It doesn't work like that. So
Right.
I have downstairs. It's a front fairing from a Road Glide Harley that it, I'm gonna try and do it, but I'm very on edge about if I can actually make it look good. But the guy that I'm working with is a close friend, and we're gonna try a couple different things and see what I can do. And if I can do it, um, then I'm gonna roll with it. But that's something that I'm gonna talk to Tim on because I think I can 3D print those inside tabs that mount, and then I can bond them into the carbon when I lay it up. So that might be something I look into.
So Frank Volpe just posted. I might have made you guys a sale. He says he wants an oil belly pan.
Yes, he did. He did message me. He messaged me about a belly pan a few weeks ago, and he said he was going to get me the dimensions when he got his car back. But
Very
Frank,
cool.
if you're watching, I need pictures of that thing and I need dimensions.
I'll watch as we go through. Now, so you're gonna mass produce some stuff, but obviously you're gonna do custom work as well.
Yep.
Now, is it true? I've been told this, and again, I have no carbon fiber experience at all, that you can't paint carbon fiber panel for X amount of time.
So you have to bake the car. So if you bake the carbon, like if you put it in an oven, there's a cure time in carbon. So, depending on what you use for hardener in the resin, there's different times that it takes to dry, like completely. It might feel dry and look dry, and you don't know it's still wet, but over time it'll shrink. And when it shrinks, the paint will crack. So a lot of times people will bake the whole car before they paint it, or
Okay.
we'll bake a part in an oven. But most of the time, I let the part sit under a heat lamp for a couple of days on a low temperature just to keep it baking. And then before I clear coat them or before I'll paint them, I let them sit for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But it's definitely not something, you lay it up one day and then the next day you put a coat of paint on it. You can't do that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it'll wrinkle. It'll wrinkle.
Yeah, because I know Lauren had, again, using her as the example, she just got a new body on her car
Yep.
last year, beginning of last year, I think it was.
Yep.
And she said, it's going to stay like that for about a year or so,
Yeah.
6 months to a year. I don't remember exactly what she said. So, and I had no idea that they had to basically sit and dry out.
Yeah,
So,
it really depends on what you use for a resin and a hardener too. That changes how long it takes for sure. Because I have resin and hardener here that'll dry in 5 minutes.
okay,
But it's very unrealistic for making a part because you can't have it dry while you're making the part.
right.
So on an extensive part like a body panel for a dragster that you really want to look good and everybody's going to see it, you want to use a slow drying resin so you can work it in nice and make it look good.
Gotcha. He just said he actually just got his car back.
Perfect. All right, send me those pictures and dimensions. I'll get that thing going for you.
Now, for both of you, has there been one part that you either wanted to build, somebody wanted you to build it for them, and it kicked your butt, and you were ready to just go, screw it, actually, we're not doing it. And you
I don't
just
think
said, but you said, then the other side of you said, this thing's not going to beat me.
I don't think we've ran into that yet.
No.
No, I think
Not
all
yet.
the parts that we've made so far, we've been able to figure them out pretty quickly.
Right.
The only thing that has been a little bit of a fighter is those panels for the snowmobile, but
Gotcha.
they're gonna get done. They'll look nice, but it just takes a little more time.
So, Eric, your mom wants to know if you're going to make her a princess crown.
Probably not.
Probably not, Carrie. I'm sorry.
She can order it, not for free though.
And go on that website and
Right? You can send me an email on the website. I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days.
there you go.
I'll 3D print one if Eric won't lay one up.
That might be easier. Yeah, we could
Yeah.
3D print one.
3D printer on that would be hilarious. She said you're a jerk. Um, I don't know what you said, but you set my Google off. It started talking to me. Um, so what now? What else do you guys got going on for the juniors? Because that seems to be a big thing too.
So the junior motors, those I got into. I mean, I always built my own junior motors when I was younger. I got four of them, five of them down there right now that I've been working on. But so I have a base freshen up cost. People bring me their motors. I haven't done any new builds. They've all been freshen ups.
Okay.
So they bring me their motor. I'll freshen it up for a base cost, and if I find anything severely wrong with it, hard part wise, then I fix that. I have access to a full machine shop. Um, Jeff Morgano at CSS, one of my buddies, Cam, they own that, and he's got some top notch machines over there that I can hone them on, and I can sleeve junior blocks. I can hone them, sleeve them, basically anything. If there's anything wrong with it, I have the access to any machine that will fix it. And
Yes.
I got together with some people to do anodizing, so I can do anodizing on all the motor, all the bolt-on parts. I can do. I can anodize any color anybody wants. I can also anodize the block, but in order to do that, I have to remove the sleeve. So if you want the block anodized, I have to take the sleeve out because you can't anodize with the steel in it. The acid messes with the steel, and then I can re-sleeve it after that. And then I got into polishing the blocks. So when I do a full anodized package, I'll polish the block, or you can do the whole motor polish with all the bolt-ons polished. Um, I've done all the juniors now. They run the evap system that has the lines that recycle the oil. So they come with the plastic lines, and the methanol makes them hard and they leak. So I've been doing AN line conversions on all of them, nice black AN lines. So I try and make them look as nice as possible.
Yeah.
Build them as good as you can and make them look as nice as possible, because the juniors out there now, a lot of them are top notch. They're beautiful cars. A lot of people spend a lot of money and a lot of time making their juniors look nice, and having a motor that doesn't look nice and it leaks oil everywhere is, it sucks when it's on a really nice car. So,
Right.
or on any car for that matter. So I like to make them look nice. That's one of the things I spend a lot of time on.
Now, do you see a time down the road where you're producing your own junior motors, or you want to stick with the refresh?
I've thought about. I talked to Jeff at CSS about machining my own blocks. We've talked about it, but there's a lot that goes into it. So for now, I'm just gonna stick with what I'm doing. I mean, I'll build somebody a brand new motor. I'll just use somebody else's block. Like I'll order a block from
Right.
somebody. But I would like to get into making my own blocks in the future for sure.
So legit CNC machining is it's on your radar.
Absolutely, yeah. We are definitely. I mean, Tim is getting very good at drawing, so that's really he works every night drawing. He might be drawing something for himself or anybody he knows, helping out his dad on his car, drawing stuff. But what we have for sale is not half of what Tim has drawn. So he draws stuff
Gotcha.
all the time that nobody ever sees. But he's getting really
Gotcha.
good, so that'll help when it comes down to buying a CNC machine or a CNC
Right.
bridge board or anything like that. So
They don't come cheap, but they do a hell of a good job.
they definitely don't come cheap, but in the long run, it'd be something that's worth it for sure.
Nice. So, Tim, why aren't you in Florida? You want to be up here in the cold and the snow?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I have to work. I just couldn't take the time off from work and didn't go. So
Now,
I get
is
to
your dad doing all three events? Did he do Orlando, then going to the Baby Gators, and then doing the Gator Nationals?
no, just the baby Gators and the Gators. He didn't do Orlando.
Oh, okay.
He
All
uh,
right.
he won class today, and eliminations start tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you
Very
won
nice.
class today?
Yeah,
Cool.
double A.
Nice.
Double A. Awesome. Now you made the marker holder for your dad. But have you made any other parts for your father's Camaro
Yeah,
that you can talk about?
he over the winter he put a race pack in his car, and for anyone who's seen my dad's car, it's like everything has to be perfect on it. And he wanted something to hold his module for his O2 sensor that he was installing. So I built him a little bracket to hold his O2 sensor, and it's got an aluminum base. And then I 3D printed stands and a little top bracket for it that real clean looking piece that holds the module down.
That reminded me we got to get that on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Keep forgetting to upload that one on the website. We've had that going on for a little while. I keep forgetting to put it on the website.
Oh, really? Yeah, because your dad's car. Let's call it what it is. It's a work of art.
Yeah.
You want to keep it like that.
Right.
So that's awesome. So let's jump into some more racing stuff. What are your racing plans for both of you? Whoever wants to go first can for 2025.
Who's starting? You want to start or I want to start?
You
I'll
can.
start.
You've been starting. You
Well,
keep going.
So over the winter, I bought another race car. Actually, we bought two race cars over the last year. So my dad bought his truck. That one's going to be out this year. I'm going to drive that. So he doesn't have his license. He doesn't have an advanced CT license in a door car. He only has in a dragster. I raced top sportsman in the past before we cut the truck up and back aft it. So I'm going to race his truck come whenever it's ready, probably beginning of May. As soon as New England Dragway gets warm enough to run a 6-second car, I'll be running that, testing it, getting it ready. I'd like to make it to Maple Grove for the first divisional. That is definitely something that's on my radar. If we're ready, we'll be there. So that's something I'm going to drive this year. And then the rest of the family will still be driving. My mom's still be driving a Super Street. My brother's going to be driving his foot brake car. And then my dad's going to hop in the truck. After I drive it a little bit, he's going to hop in it. And then that'll be his. And then over the winter, I decided to just buy another car because, who likes money,
I
right?
like I can tell when you're saying I got another toy because you look down like this and you're like,
Yeah.
then I bought.
Should I have bought it? Probably not. But did I? Absolutely. I mean, it was a good deal. The deal was on the table, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I bought a 1980 Monte Carlo. Um, Not the most desirable body style car, but it's a extremely clean car. It's a foot brake car, so I'm going to bracket race it. I'm going to travel with it. I'm going to run Vince's race out at the Valley, the Twin Tens.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out to Ohio for Antoine Jet's race. Go down to Maple Grove for a couple of bracket races down there for the like the independent showdown and stuff like that. But that'll be my foot brake car. So, I have a hard time only racing a couple of times every once in a while. Like with the Top Sportsman car, we don't have races every weekend. So
Right.
I can't go. And then, come Friday when I'm leaving work, I want to go racing. There's nothing I want to do on the weekend in the summer but race. So
Right.
having just a Top Sportsman car, you can't race every weekend. There's nothing for me to race. So I bought that car. I'm going to do a little work to it. And then I actually bought it through Ken LeBlanc.
Okay.
Ken LeBlanc and Craig Rice hooked me up with the deal. So I got that car sitting in the trailer, and that'll be out in April.
Nice. All right, Tim. Let's hear it.
Um,
Talk about that. Freshen up.
what was the question? I don't even remember the question.
Racing plans for this year.
I plan to win something. I haven't won enough. I've been to a handful of semifinals and finals. I've only won once, so plan number one is to win something. But other than that, I'm hoping to have my stalker motor back, run the Nova some. Did some work to the dragster. Hoping to do some stuff to go a little faster with that, as fast as the car can go. So
You gonna hit the divisionals?
yeah, I'll probably do 3 or 4 divisionals, and when I'm not doing that, go run Super Pro or Top Dragster up at New England Dragway.
Nice. Now I have to admit, as gorgeous as your dad's Camaro is, I have a thing for Novas. That's the car that my parents owned that my brother drove when I was a little kid. I love that Nova that you guys own. I think that is one of the coolest looking cars going.
Stalkers are way cool.
Stalkers are way cool.
Stalkers are way cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dragster. I like going fast. Yeah, I like doing all that, but I'll always be a stalker guy. I like it. I just wanted to race more, like Eric was talking about. I can't go up and just wear out the stalker at New England Dragway and bracket race it.
Right.
Whereas my dragster, I can just kind of go and race whatever, wherever.
Nice. Now, here's an interesting question. You guys are younger. Where do you see the future of drag racing? Do you still think it's going to be the divisional stuff, or is it leaning more towards the big money stuff, or even the moderate money stuff?
For me, I really do like the divisional stuff. I mean, the people that race divisionals, we raced the whole circuit for a long time, and I
Right.
grew up around all those people. All my very close friends that live far away, I see them at the divisionals. So it's something that I'll always do. I'm never gonna, we haven't done it a lot the last few years, but we put up a new shop, and we sold a couple of race cars, bought a couple of new ones. So it's definitely something we're going to get back into, and this year is probably going to be the turning point on that. We're going to go to a couple of them, but it's never something that I'm going to give up. I always want to run the divisionals, just because it's good racing. Division One is extremely competitive, and it's where all my friends are. I like everybody that I race with divisionals. Everybody's good people. I get along with everybody. there's nobody at a Division I race that I don't get along with. So
Right.
it's nice to be able to do that and know everybody when you're racing. But on the other side of things, I do love bracket racing. You know, I like going out there and racing for big money. I like traveling. But the big money bracket races are making their way towards us. They're getting closer. I mean, back in the day when my dad was doing it, he would have to go to Georgia and Bradenton. Like he won down in SGMP in 2013 in the blue truck.
Yeah.
But I mean, at my age, I can't afford or afford the time and the money to travel all the way to Georgia.
Right.
I can't take a week and a half, 2 weeks out of work to go down to Georgia and spend $3,000 to maybe not win anything. So I like that they're coming closer. Like I said, Vince's race at the Valley. Antoine Jett puts on a great race also. Um, but yeah, I'd like to do both, but I like going fast. So that's where the bracket race and stuff, it's fun. I like racing for big money, but it's not fast.
Right.
And when you're strapped in a car that goes fast, it's a completely different feeling than when you're strapped in a car that's, say a 10-second car. It's not even comparable to when you strap yourself into a mid 6-second car.
Right.
So I I would really like in the future, like my end goal in the future is to be in a pro mod. My end goal, I've always wanted to drive a pro mod, and if that opportunity comes arise in the future, that would be absolutely something that
You'd be
uh,
all over it.
I'd be all over it. I wouldn't even hesitate to say yes to step in a pro mod. So
Awesome. All right, Tim, how about you?
I don't remember the question again.
The future.
future.
Oh, the future.
Big money or it's all divisionals? Or both?
Probably a little bit of both. Um, as unfortunate as it is, and as much as we don't want to talk about it, I don't think stock and super stock are going to be around forever. Um, so
No, it's all right. I'm
all
just
good
kidding.
things must come to an end. Um, but I do think divisionals will always be there, and then big money racing. So probably a little bit of both. Doing the divisionals, doing the bracket racing.
Okay. So Eric stole my brainwave on the car that you would give up and dive right into in a heartbeat. What's yours? He said pro mod. What about you?
Um, I would drive a top fuel car. If
Yeah.
I like the nitro stuff. I think it's cool. Um, I like going fast. So if someone came to me and said, "Hey, it won't cost you anything. You want to drive my top fuel car?" I would get in it and drive the top fuel car.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to pass over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
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 Cool. So now where is your shop located?
So my shop is in Hampstead, New Hampshire. Not far from 93, right off of exit 4, 93 in
Okay,
Hampstead. About 35 minutes from New England Dragway.
there you go. Now you have a website.
Yep.
What is that?
The website is ekmotorsportsusa.com.
Okay. You on Facebook?
I am on Facebook. Currently, the Facebook is under my personal name. It's just under
Okay.
Eric Corey. So all the
Okay.
all the stuff that we promote, Tim posts it on his account, and then I post it on my personal account also. And
Cool.
if you go on my Facebook through any of the posts, you'll be able to find the link to the website.
The fuel lady just chimed in. She said he sells fuel too. So I guess apparently we have to mention
Oh yeah. I
again. We
mentioned a
have to
little bit earlier.
mention something else.
Yes. So if anybody in the East Coast or up here is looking for VP race fuels, I can hook you up for sure.
Yeah, Lauren, that make you happy. That put a smile on your face. She'll text me like any second now. So um. All right. So how about sponsors for your racing program? How people to help you make your racing what it is.
For me, it's all self paid for. Well, other
All
than my,
this
my
talking
parents.
right here.
If we're gonna say a sponsor for my top sportsman car, that is 110% my parents. I could not be where I am right now without my parents. They funded basically everything that had to do with racing until I just bought that mod. I mean, I spent a little bit of money here and there in entry fees and when I went away bracket racing, but when it came to the top sportsman car, at 18 years old, I couldn't afford to race the top sportsman car. I couldn't even afford to fill the nitrous bottle every weekend. So if it wasn't for my dad, then and my mom, I wouldn't be able to do any of it realistically. And before I bought the Monty, like last year, the year before, my mom was kind enough to let me take her race car away and go bracket racing with it, which she didn't like me doing, but she let it happen. So I'm very grateful for that because I always
Did
break
she
it.
let you? Did she let you keep the license plate on it at least?
I left the spoiled license plate on it, and I added a
Okay.
couple stickers, which she fought me on. But I put a couple of stickers on it. She's like, "Don't put stickers on my race car." But yeah, she was nice enough to let me take it. But it seems like every time I take it away, I break it, so I feel bad. But it's always broken every time I come back with it.
How about you, Tim?
It's pretty much the same answer. It's my deal. It's my own thing. My parents do help me. Like Eric, I couldn't do it without my parents. Um, my dad especially. He's the brains. My stuff wouldn't go down the racetrack if he wasn't around.
Right.
Um, Eric and Brandon are a huge help too. They're also the brains. I'm just the pretty face
To
that
drive it,
I'm just the pretty face that lets go of the button.
I wouldn't go as far as pretty face. I'd just say the guy that lets go of the button.
The guy that does that, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that's my deal.
That's
They're both
awesome.
all the race cars are gonna be EK Motorsports sponsored come next year. We got Easy Up. We're gonna get Easy Ups with EK Motorsports on it. Some flags, some big stickers.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And when you guys can retire when you're like 30 years old, because you're making all these cool parts and everybody and their brothers buying them, you can. All right. Well, we're gonna go out west and race for the
Man, if
winter.
I
And
could retire at 30, whew,
I would get bored and probably end up going back to work.
right? I would get bored, but it'd be cool. That'd be pretty awesome. But we could just
trust
race.
me, I've been retired for 5 years. It's not all it's cracked up to be. It
No,
gets really boring.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I work, for at least 14 hours a day working for my business and then working for my dad. I still work at a restaurant at night on Thursdays.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm working 14, 16 hours a day. And I honestly don't know what I would do if I wasn't either at the shop or at work all day. I'd go
Right.
nuts. I'd go
Yeah.
crazy.
It. I'm only 55. I was forced to retire when I was 50, and it's been a really long, boring 5 years.
Mhm.
So don't rush into retirement. That's my parental advice for you. So,
I'm in
well,
no
cool.
rush.
What again, so what's the website again?
So the website is ekmotorsportsusa.com.
All right. Oh, your mother just commented, he would be happy taking care of his new puppy.
Yes, I did just get a dog.
You did?
Yep.
What'd you get?
I adopted a German Shepherd.
Nice.
Yep. So that's another adventure that I'm getting into.
Yeah. Is it a rescue or
Yeah, she was a rescue. She's about 14 weeks now, but
oh cool.
she's a very good dog. She's gonna be a shop dog for sure. She's gonna be
That's
the EK
awesome.
Motorsports mascot.
Uh German Shepherd is my dream dog.
Yeah, she's an awesome dog. So
That's cool. All right. So gentlemen, that about does it. We've covered a lot of ground. And so I appreciate your time coming on, hanging out, talking about your business. Um, Again, let's hit the website.
so the website is ekmotorsportsusa.com, and my email is Eric at ekmotorsportsusa. And then I do want to mention that it is not public yet. We haven't posted it, but all of our 3D printed parts are lifetime warranty.
Oh, very nice.
So that is something that me and Tim have been talking about, and now's the perfect time to release it. That anything that you buy or have bought from us, if you send us a picture and it's broken, I mean, to a certain extent, but if it's broken, um, from mounting it, or it breaks just because something went wrong, we will warranty it for life.
Very cool. All right. How about your racing program? Do you have like a Facebook or anything just for your racing, both of you?
We do not. It's going to be some. We're definitely making another Facebook page in the near future. But
Combine everything.
yeah, we've been we started getting into that. Tim's girlfriend's helping us out with that. So
Awesome. Well, very cool, guys. It's nice to see you getting into this, taking it to the next level, starting out small in the drag racing universe and then just, climbing up and getting into the manufacturing side. That's really awesome. And obviously, the best of luck with everything in the future. And hopefully the next time we talk to you, you'll have a big, beautiful cross CNC machine in your shop.
that would be amazing. I hope I have to get in a. I'm actually putting another shop up in my house right now for
Oh,
my
really?
stuff. So yeah, that'll be where the big CNC machine gets delivered to.
There you go. Very cool. Well, all right, guys. Again, thank you so much for coming on and get back to work. All right.
Right? That's what we were doing before we got on. We got to go back now, right?
All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you
Eric
very
Corey
much.
and Tim Gray, our guests tonight. And I'll send you the YouTube link.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
You
We'll
too.
see ya.
All right. Take care.
Bottom corner.
All right. We will be back next Tuesday night with Bob Bender. He's down in Gainesville running the Baby Gators this weekend, and he's going to run the Gator Nationals. He's doing the Bob Bender World Tour. We'll be talking to him live from Florida Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Tune in, check us out live. Have a great night, everybody.